Today we're going to work on looking at models and writing fractions and then decimals to represent the models. Now, when we're working with fractions, we should be pretty familiar with them. We know there's a numerator and a denominator. When we're working with decimals, we're dealing with, it looks more like a regular number. And in fact, if you think of money, you've been dealing with decimals for quite a while in your life. However, decimals are similar to fractions because they represent a part of a whole. And in fact, to the right of every whole number, right next to the ones column, is always a decimal point. We don't always write it down and see it, but we can always imagine it there. To the right, to the right of the decimal point is the tenths column and then the hundredths column. So if you break a whole up into 10 equal parts, like that is modeled here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 equal parts. Then you have that broken up into tenths. And in fact, if we wrote it as a fraction, the 10 would be our denominator. And then we would look to see how many parts are shaded. And that would give us our numerator. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 parts shaded. So as a fraction, it looks like this, 4 tenths. Now, if we're writing this as a decimal number, we're going to use the denominator as our place value, and the numerator is the number we're going to write in that column. So we have 4 tenths, so we're going to put a decimal point here because this object is divided into 10 groups. We are dealing with 4 of them. And we say 4 tenths, we're going to put the number 4 underneath the tenths column. That means the object is broken into 10 parts and we have 4 of them. You can also put a 0 in the whole number part to represent we don't have any wholes there. You just have 4 tenths. That would be like having 4 dimes. And 4 dimes, I happen to have 4 dimes right here, is 4 tenths of a dollar, 40 cents. All right, when we have this here, we have this object also broken up into 10 equal groups. And we have 9 out of 10 of those groups. So we're going to, again, make a fraction. Decimals and fractions are related. We have 9 out of 10. So again, when you have decimals, the difference between decimals and fractions is decimals are all based on tens in their place value. Tenths, hundredths, thousands, 10,000s. It goes on and on and on and on and on forever and ever. Fractions can have anything as a denominator. But when we're converting from a fraction to a decimal, for now we're going to work with denominators of 10 or 100. So if we have 9 tenths, again, we're going to go into the tenths column, and that's where we're going to write the numerator. We're going to write the numerator 9, and we're going to make sure we have that decimal point in front of it, because we have less than one whole. 9 tenths is a part of a whole. And again, you can put your 0 there to represent. These two are equal in value. They both mean 9 out of 10. Down here, again, we have 10 equal parts. However, shaded in, we only have 1. So I'm going to write this as a fraction, 1 tenth. And as a decimal, again, I'm going to put my decimal point. Thinking of my place value columns, I have the one whole, but we don't have any holes there, so I'll put a 0. And because this is 1 tenth, I'm going to put the number 1 underneath the column of the tenths. All right? So that is when we're dealing with 10 equal parts. We break it up into tenths. However, we can break it up into smaller parts. Just like a dollar can be broken up into 10 equal parts for like dimes, 10 dimes to equal a dollar. We can also break it up into hundredths. And that's what I'm going to model in the next video.